It's interesting on what is happening in the media nowadays when we talk about real estate. And it's so funny because everybody's got an opinion of real estate. You're going to hear mine today. But, for the last little while, I've been listening to some of these, I don't know, social media influencers. I mean, who do these people think they are? They get one little headline and they run with it like that is God. This is part of the problem when we talk about real estate and how everybody's an expert. So, what really is a real estate expert? Well, you know what? I do consider myself one, but maybe that's because I've been in the business for over 35 years. I've been a realtor, a developer, a builder, general contractor, and most importantly, I've been the simple investor for the last 16 years and happen to manage thousands of units. So, does that make me an expert? Well, hopefully it does give me some kind of education on what's really happening in the real estate market here in Canada. And a lot of people continue to talk about the huge uptick in listings. And so right now, when social media people turn around, they grab headlines like this, like, oh my goodness, 30,000 active listings. It's like it's never happened before. And truth be told, that particular number may not have happened before. But when we drill down on how to break down these numbers, maybe we should take a closer look at some of the history in real estate. So in 2005, for those of you that were actually in the industry, and I was at the time, we had some pretty active listings going on, over 24,000 active listings with a population of Canada sitting around 32 million. So what does that mean? When we take a look at the numbers, how it represents 0.077% of the population was listed. Okay, so why don't we fast forward back to the newest number in 2025, and that percentage actually goes down. That's right, because what happened to Canada? Well, guess what? Population went up. Now, when we talk about population, it also is, indicative of, I don't know, homes. Because if you remember in 2005, we started going through some building crazes and bring it back up to 25. All of a sudden, we've got hundreds of thousands of more homes and condos being built. So 2025, what do we got? 0.073. But that's still not that high a number in comparison to when they had the financial crash in 2008. And this is where the real number is. And this is where we saw 0.082%. Folks, these are the real numbers. I know a lot of people sit there and say, yeah, but Todd, you're playing with semantics. No, I'm playing with the population, the number of houses, and the actual listings. So for all of you influencers out there saying the sky is falling, it's kind of off base right now because, quite frankly, the sky isn't falling. What happened? Well, we had a huge glut of condominiums come into the market because that's how the construction was phased in. You know what? In Toronto and in Canada, it takes a long time to get building approvals. So when you start seeing completions coming in at 24 and 25, well, guess what? Those people actually had applications in 2015, 2016, 17, that time frame. So by the time everything's said and done, it can take 7 to 10 years to actually complete. So, you know what? We didn't see a whole lot finished in 2021, and that's when we saw, demand go through the roof, interest rates were down. And so when we take a look at the big numbers, 2025, we're going to have quite a few completions. So we're going to see more inventory. But what does it truly mean to the market? Well, when we take the look at the rest of the ones that are completing, 26, 27, and 28, 28, the completions in 28 will be the lowest in decades. And this means that inventory will get eaten up. And again, we're going to come down to, a problem. We're not going to have enough inventory. It's going to take a little while. But before all the naysayers out there say the sky is falling, well, you know what? You got to take a hard look at the numbers before you start making those claims. Now, we can talk about the outer markets. We could talk about detached homes, semi-detached home, townhomes. They're not suffering the same way that the brand new condo market in Toronto is happening, because that was the biggest buildup over the last few years. So what does that mean to real estate over the next few months, few years? Well, first and foremost, we need the Bank of Canada to do a little bit harder work. We got to get some interest rates down. We got to get a little bit of a reprieve. Our renewals are going to be coming up a lot stronger in 2026 for those people that took the 5-year terms in 2021. So ideally, we should see a couple more reductions this year from the Bank of Canada. Hey, Tiff, I know you're listening. I'm just giving you a reminder. We need to see those rates come down a little bit more. When we talk about the province, we talk about the federal government, everybody wanting to wade in on real estate. We're talking about, container homes. We call them sheds, little cube boxes. Everybody's going to jump in and go, hey, let's make housing affordable. Again, this is one of those narratives that I think everybody's off base, because what I'm not hearing from especially the federal government is them talking about making home ownership affordable. All they're talking about is affordable housing. Those are completely two different things. Mr. Carney, stay in your lane. Don't bring Brookfield in. Let the private sector focus on Canada's real estate, and we'll get through it. So for all you social media experts out there, I'm just wondering what the next claim to fame will be when we talk about real estate. The fact is that you got to be able to analyze the numbers, understand them, and actually put proof behind everything you're saying. I think the numbers speak for themselves, and that's really important. As I always say, one of the most important things that we should, as Canadians, is definitely focusing on your family, focusing on the next generation, your kids, your grandkids. Real estate can give you some strength, some security for your financial future. But again, as tax-paying Canadians, we want to watch out for each other because nobody else will. Anyways, love to hear your comments on the Canadian real estate, what you think's really happening. And of course, I'm Todd Z. Slater. Thanks for tuning in.